Back to Beyond the Summit's coverage of Starladder Season 10. Today is a big day. It is the premiere of the European Division. We've got a big one to get things started. Alliance versus Cloud9. I'm Zyori, and today I'll be joined remotely by none other than Dota Cinema's Cinderin. Cinderin, my friend, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm really, really good. I made that sound like I'm surprised that I'm good. That's not what you should have expected, but yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm very happy to get to cast these games today, to be honest, because correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is the first showing of what could become the new alliance, and I believe Fata is actually already confirmed on Cloud9, so two
Yes.
new rosters. I guess we can say at least Cloud9 is confirmed. I believe it's Fata's first game in Cloud9. Is that correct?
I believe so as well. And on Alliance, we've
Don't
got
think I've seen it.
Chessie and Misery as the two stand-ins, though they've been rumored to be a little bit more than stand-ins, even though it's yet to be official.
Yeah.
So it should be interesting, though. Anyone's game for the taking. Do you have any initial predictions? Do you know anything about these two stand-ins on the side of Alliance? Chessie in particular. You've been following the Han Trash scene there, Cinderin?
I've never really been following much Han. I think you know way more about it than I do, but from what I've heard, he is an incredible jungler, which is a little interesting because Alliance already has one of those in Ake, right?
Yeah.
So now they have like abundance of Chen masters, I guess, but
Yeah,
I
he's
guess
another
it gives
one of
Alliance
these.
a couple of openings on how they can run the supports.
Yeah, Chessie's another one of these very, very individually skilled players. He's a young Swedish player, so that tends to bode well in the context of esports. All right. So Cloud9 versus Alliance. We're into our draft here, Cinderin. First pick for Cloud9. They scoop up the Doombringer. Alliance open with the Bulldog, Nature's Prophet, and the Brewmaster. Bulldog is not tagged up properly. Right now he is tagged up as DOS, but I believe that is indeed the actual Admiral
Yes.
Bulldog. Yeah. So there you go. Nature's Prophet. Brewmaster. Can't teach a old dog new tricks, I guess, huh?
Well, it's very classic Alliance, I guess. Classic Alliance opener. Even though they're not playing with their standard roster, it still looks like the same old picks, at least for now. And you could say the same for Cloud9. They've got the Doom that they absolutely love to first pick. We need to remember that the new version hasn't come out yet, so
Yeah.
we're still playing on the international version, and because of that, most teams will still be playing the international way. We see the Razor ban, Skywrath ban as well. It's pretty reminiscent of what we saw some weeks ago at TI, and as far as Cloud9 goes, not surprised to see them grabbing a Viper either. It's arguably one of Fata's best mid-heroes, a natural mech carrier, which he loves playing in that mid lane, and also a great matchup against Brewmaster, who does very well in lane against even many ranged heroes, even though he's melee, but Viper is one of the ones that can really shut him down the lane.
Yes, indeed. Viper, the lane dominator. Mr. Faceless Void has made it all the way through the initial rounds. I reckon he'll get banned out in this second couplet here, but not quite yet. Enigma, the third ban for Cloud9, and the Watermelon Tidehunter will be banned out by Alliance.
Yeah. Two big team fighters getting removed here. I'm not really sure who this favors the most. Alliance already with Brewmaster easily have the bigger team fight hero, but he's playing into a Doom, so it's not really that easy playing Brew already. You need to be a little bit quick, and if you get greedy, as I would like to call it, with Brewmaster getting Blink, Clap, and then Split, if the Doom is fast on his fingers, he could shut you down immediately. So you might have to not use the Clap at all, and that's, of course, a big loss for the Brewmaster in these kind of fights. We'll see how it plays out once we get into the game, but
Yeah.
a Centaur ban is interesting for me to see because, first of all, Alliance are dire, and Centaur to me is a lot worse on dire unless you run it safe lane. And secondly, it's not really classically an Alliance hero.
No, it's not. And I think the Dire thing is really more of a key facet here. On Radiant, at least he can leech some experience and has that pull camp, but on Dire's side, he has no ancient stacking ability, where that's a side where Tide really starts to shine, and even your Beastmaster, they have something to fall back on. But Big Brad, not quite the same. Bat Rider, the final ban for Alliance, so Faceless Void actually makes it through here, as both teams seem very, very afraid of the offlaners that were left in the pool.
Yeah, the Void isn't that good for Alliance, though, so it makes a lot of sense for Cloud9 to let it through, I think. He's not that good against Viper. Viper's innately tanky, and of course, if he doesn't get caught in the chrono, can shut down Void's attack speed a hell of a lot with the Viper Strike. And in addition to that, Void doesn't have good synergy with Brewmaster. If you get these guys together in a teamfight lineup, it's kind of like a couple of the matches we saw at TI where I think in particular DK were trying to make Void and Timbersaw work together, and it just doesn't work that well because you get a great chrono, but your second teamfight hero can't get in because he's melee.
Yeah.
And yeah, because of that, I don't think Alliance are actually considering it. If they do it, I would suggest that they get some some more range after that because, yeah, well, Nature's Prophet, he has okay synergy, but he's not really that good of a team fighter either. He's more of a split pusher, so
Yeah.
we'll see what direction Alliance try to take it in. Maybe they go all push. Like, we have heroes like Pugna still.
Death Prophet.
Death Prophet's there, Leshrac, if you want to go that path, but that's not really that usual these days. But Death Prophet definitely would be a good pick, in my opinion. You can get doomed on Death Prophet after you resolve. That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been casting a lot of SCA Dota, and they like to work in the Death Prophet a little bit more than some of the teams here in the EU, so I might be a little biased on that front. But it will be a Wraith King picked up for Alliance. Probably a support Wraith King, though still, I suppose he could be in the safe lane and their lead farmer.
Right, I was being told to fix my sound in the client. I had open mic off. I'm supposed to have that on when I'm commentating with you, right?
Correct, yes.
Good, okay, it's fixed. Sorry, guys, you should be able to hear me in Dota TV now. Hopefully the audio levels are okay. Thanks, Twitch chat, for pointing that out.
Good guy, Twitch chat.
Yeah, should be working now. So, okay, interesting to see this. Visage as well as Wraith King. I actually love seeing Visage next to Viper in this loadout screen. It looks good.
Prepare for the Dro Ranger pick. It's coming.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, it is Cloud9, and it looks like Alliance might have forgotten who they're playing against. But they get themselves a Wraith King, so even less reason now to get a Void. I think at this point it's just a flat-out bad pick. And, you know, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Yeah. A lot of people regard Void as one of the best heroes right now, but when you have this kind of a composition, he's just a no-go.
Yeah, absolutely. He really synergizes well with those heroes like Skywrath, who was first banned out in the context of this game. That seems to be a smart choice. It would be a Witch Doctor, fourth pick for Alliance. Some kill potential with a Wraith King, whether he's a support or a core. The makings of what could be a pretty scary tri-lane there.
Yeah, it's something for Cloud9 to be a little bit worried about. Cloud9 is a team that likes playing greedy, so they will, if they can get away with it, I think their mentality in the game is the greedier we can put our lanes, the better, as long as we don't get punished. And Alliance with this pick might be looking to punish that. They know they're running into the Drow. The moment they see the Visage, they know it's coming. So what do? Maybe they run an aggressive tri-lane with Wraith King Witch Doctor +1, which is a strong lane. And if they save lane the Bulldog Prophet, he can also help them out. And then they can suddenly play a 4v3 initiation in that bottom lane. And the one thing Cloud9's tri-lane, when they played with Drow Visage, is not that good at, is the moment they get on the back foot. Then this lane doesn't have much comeback potential in my book. Like, if you get shut down and you don't play from ahead, Drow is a very weak hero. You catch up to her, she's, I wouldn't say useless, but she's one of the weaker heroes in the game for sure if you're in melee range. Visage needs levels as a support. And maybe Alliance's plan here is, okay, if we can't win the mid lane because there's a Viper, let's try to win the tri lane against... We know how Cloud9 are going to put these lanes, so we'll see what we can do about it.
Yeah, it'll be a little tough for Dro with two Blink Dagger carriers, the Wraith King and the Brewmaster, plenty of gap closing, and that's the bane to her existence, as it were. As you mentioned, when you get up close, deactivates that ultimate, and all of her damage kind of just evaporates. Final bans coming out will be two supports. The Mirana from Cloud9 makes a lot of sense. That's a very scary tri-lane arrow on top of all the damage from Witch Doctor, and then your Wraithfire Blast, and Lion, the final ban from Alliance. Another pretty smart ban here. He would have worked well in the Cloud9 tri-lane, I think.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I have no idea what Alliance want to get now. They have 20 seconds left, though, so kind of have to make a decision quickly.
You think
if Wraith King is not the carry...
Okay. Support.
If Wraith King is not the carry, then I don't know yet. Like, he could play both roles, but I'm saying if he's not the carry, they absolutely need a ranged carry here, I think.
No.
Oh, okay. You just don't... Okay.
Well, we still don't know.
Is it no idea.
Carry Naga, support Naga?
Yeah.
Really hard to say here. I think they could run it either way.
That's the good thing about it here from Alliance, is that Cloud9 don't really know what they're dealing with. Is it an aggressive tri-lane with a support Naga? Is it with a core Naga? Are they not even running aggressive after all? Do they let us get our free lane and they just safe lane farm a Naga and expect to win mid-late game with the split push? I dare say this is the type of game where a multi-item Naga will not be shut down by the Cloud9 lineup. They don't have a solution. They don't have illusion clearing. They have Echo Slam, Fissure, and that's it, right? There's like...
Yeah.
This is one of the games where a Naga doesn't even need that 6-slot late game to be extremely useful. I'm thinking just the moment you get like a Radiance and a Heart and a Manta, just those 3 items will cause a hell of a lot of trouble for Cloud9. I don't know if they can deal with it. But then again, C9's lineup, they love winning games at like 25 minutes, so maybe the Naga won't be a problem for them.
Yeah, if Naga can sort of start hitting that critical mass at least with a well-timed Radiance, one of the items that shuts down the illusions is the Maelstrom into a Mjolnir, and Cloud9 doesn't really have a natural Mjolnir carrier. And that's kind of an issue here as well, as I think. It will be Loda on the Naga Siren, so stands to reason she'll be the one farming. It's Misery that picks up the Wraith King. And Ake on the Witch Doctor, so there you have it. We've got a farming Naga for our first game of Starladder EU.
This could be a long game. It's either, the way it looks just from the draft, it's probably either Cloud9 just crushing through Alliance in the early mid game, or it's Alliance playing for a very late game with incredible split push. I don't see how Cloud9's lineup can possibly win this game past the hour mark. But then the Alliance needs to get there first, right? It's a long game.
Yes, it certainly is.
But Cloud9 certainly have what they need for the mid and the early part of the late game. Drow is very strong at that point. Viper with an early mech eggs. Visage, we know how Cloud9 play this. We've seen it countless times with the Drow Ranger. And with Eternal Envy, it's actually Bone 7, of course, on that Doom in the off lane. They have a lot of initiation power in the mid game. Viper and Doom, probably getting a blink. Fissure long range opener. A lot of ways of getting in on Alliance, and I think the goal for them is to take the fights.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance don't have bad team fight either. With Chessie on that Brewmaster, he'll be headed towards the mid lane. Loda on the Naga Siren. Not that he'll want to team fight, but at least she can come and help out with that Song of the Siren if need be. And Ake on the Witch Doctor, a great mid-game team fighter. We'll have Misery here on the support Wraith King, and all that leaves us with Admiral Bulldog tagged up as DOS, of course, on his Fungal Nature's Prophet. No big surprise there. But, I mean, I think Alliance can take some fights in the mid-game. This isn't a total 4-protect one. At least they can skirmish a little bit.
They do have tools, of course. That's mainly the Brewmaster gives them a lot of potential to stall the game and win some team fights, even with a Naga. Naga is generally fairly weak for the first 20 minutes, at least if she farms for fast Radiance. We don't see many Nagas going for the early effectiveness build, something like drums into Diffusal or something similar along those lines where you want to fight early, because then you would probably pick another hero, right? If you wanted to fight early, there's other carries that are more attractive to you in your draft. But
right.
With both the Brew, the Wraith King, and the Witch Doctor as the dual support and as the mid laner here, the team fight potential is certainly there, but I'm looking at the lanes. Like, that's all I want to know. Are Alliance just playing it safe, which it looks like they will? Or will they actually? Hang on. Prophet started with boots, so that could be both offlane and safe lane. I don't even know yet from their movement what they want to do.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. So far, they have put down an Observer Ward here on the high ground, right around the rune. Well, can't draw, but we will resume, and they threw down a Sentry here as well, sort of anticipating an Invade Ward coming down. Still moving as a 5-man unit. It looks like they'll leave Bulldog for the safe lane. Chessie slated for the mid, and they will do a 3-hero smoke as they rotate down bottom. There is a Radiant Observer here that would have caught wind of them, so this smoke actually pretty effective so far as they've yet to be scouted.
Yeah, Aoi isn't going to go look for the rune, though, or he looks for it, but he isn't going to try to grab it.
Yep.
I wonder if he would have tried for it if it were another rune than regen. If it was like a DD or a haste, if he would have tried to get the rune, then he would have been killed for it. So maybe got a little lucky or didn't want it in the first place.
Well, Alliance will start off aggressive here. Their smoke about to expire, but they've still yet to be scouted. Wraithfire Blast, as well as the Paralyzing Cask, already leveled up. And Loda is holding that first skill point, though. He'll probably be tempted to grab Riptide if they do commit for a First Blood. It is a 2-1-2 for Cloud9. There's only 2 heroes down here. Earthshaker is still up top. And there is possibly some potential to catch one, but no. Loda will just move into the lane, and initial gank will be unsuccessful.
Yeah, Pilot Eye is going to move toward bottom immediately with that Earthshaker. This is the lane that Cloud9 were probably not expecting Alliance to actually do, because an aggressive tri-lane Naga is very rare these days, but now that they see it, they're going to immediately adapt, move the Shaker down, play a try versus try. They have double range together with Fissure against a melee carry and a melee support, and only one range support played by Ake here. I don't know if this lane from Alliance is actually going to be good enough for this purpose.
It's a little scary. We'll see how it works out. I think whoever gets the first kill is going to secure this lane. There's kill potential with the 2 melee heroes, but certainly not ideal. Dro will grab the Aura at level 1 for a little bit of extra right click, and Alliance are off to the races with the ward battle. Sentry came down and took the vision of the bottom rune, and right now there's no ward coverage for the Radiant side of the runes or in general. I don't think they've put down their second observer, or if they have, I'm struggling to find it on the map, but they are really suffering in vision already.
And it looks like Alliance are going to make a really unusual play here. They're running an aggressive tri-lane, and they're leaving the Naga alone, trying to get a rotation in on the mid lane on Fata. But looks like Fata is being very careful. He knows the supports are missing. if you see where Loda is on the lane right now for Alliance, it actually becomes incredibly obvious to Cloud9 that the supports are looking at mid. You see Fata is very defensive right now, because where else would the supports be? Why aren't they with Loda on the lane, and why aren't they in the jungle around this area out here? This is a very obvious gank, and it's not going to work.
And this is becoming a pretty big time sink here. Ake and Misery are getting absolutely nothing, no experience, both sitting on level 1. And their threat is keeping Fata back in the lane and making some space for Chessie, but is it worth it is the question here. Fata will move up top, he finds a double damage rune, and it won't be contested. And now this gank will be even less successful than it could have been. It does get scouted out, so they know he has a double damage, but I reckon they will not want to fight into a DD Viper.
They're playing a mind game on Fata here. They're like, he has to expect at some point that we gave up, but they're not giving up. They're actually just standing there for a full minute until they're like, okay, not happening. And now the moment they're moving away, Fata's still being cautious here, and it's not really a good trade. I have to agree. Like, if you sacrifice 2 supports for this, sure, you're getting some extra farm on the Brewmaster. He's now ahead of Viper in the lane because of this, but he's used a lot of time on it. And maybe now, they can't believe it. They're like, wow, they're actually still coming for it.
Yep, and Bulldog comes in. Fata is the target of choice. A fissure from Pylai dies. He TP's in. Fata may still be the victim of the first blood. He is. Chessie draws it with one more auto attack. Doom secures a 1-for-1 as he takes down the Witch Doctor. But now Chessie on the run will be able to survive. Pylai die making some space for Bone 7. And he'll be successful at that front, but takes a Wraithfire Blast and some right clicks. Misery will be forced out, and it will end as a 1-for-1. But Alliance find the better of it as the Brewmaster gets the bonus gold.
Now, I don't know if I would say Alliance actually came out on top of that. They abandoned the Prophet had to TP for that. They have to rotate now because Loda went top lane. Yes, they did get the first blood. They got a 1-for-1, however, and they committed a lot of time and heroes to that. And at the same time, there's free farm on the Drow in the bottom lane. So I guess it's fair to call it even. The bonus gold might make up for the investment they had there in terms of time and rotations, but the bigger question for me is this advantage that they've managed to get Chessie, is that going to be enough for him to not need any more help, or do they have to do it again? Fata was winning the lane, then they kept Fata at bay for like 1.5 minutes and then moved in, but he's still tied on experience pretty much with the Brewmaster. He's 150 behind only after getting killed, so...
Yeah, tied on last hits as well.
Looking okay.
Yeah, it does keep Chessie in the game. He's close to level 6, and that's sort of the name of the game. Once Brew hits 6, at least he can move around and find opportunities to gank. If they get aggressive in other lanes, he can TP in and be a serious threat.
Bone 7's coming in with a clap here. They were not expecting that. Had the Invis rune here, and this is going to be an easy kill, I believe. Actually dodging quite a bit. But
yeah, Misery TP's in, throws out a stun, but too little too late, and it will be a kill on the Brewmaster. So a good rotation from Bone 7. Brew just so close, well, halfway to level 6. If he had the Primal Split, would have been a different story, but a great time to secure a kill on the Panda. All this time, though, Eternal Envy is just...
gank at 4 minutes, do you?
Yeah, and all this time, Eternal Envy is just free farming away in the bottom lane. He's the last hit leader by far.
And one thing to keep in mind as far as that goes, too, is this is Cloud9's comfort zone. They've got the heroes they like to play. I think every single one of their players is actually on one of their 3 best heroes. Eternal Envy's Drow, easily the Visage for Aoi, Pylai Shaker, Bone 7 has been playing a lot of Doom, and finally Fata's Viper in the mid lane with a mech. And they're getting away with their greedy style so far. It's a 5-minute Midas for Eternal Envy on the Drow, and Alliance haven't really accomplished anything. So the question is their draft going to be able to deal with Cloud9's style, which usually starts pushing pretty early when Visage hits level 6 and Drow has high level aura? They like taking the towers around the 15-minute mark, and can Alliance respond with their lineup?
It'll be hard. With Naga Siren, they have a reset tool, but only level 6 on Loader right now. It'll be a while before he gets that shorter cooldown at level 11. And I agree with you. I worry that they might just get run over by Cloud9 once they really commence the team fight and the pushing. Even Earthshaker now is level 3, and as he starts to come online, things will get more and more difficult. There is a rotation towards the mid lane. Misery as well as Ake coming forward. They will scout out the high ground, and this is creating some space for Loda. He's had some free farm time up in the top lane and catching up to the Drow Ranger, now 29 CS compared to the 39 of Eternal Envy, and putting a lot of damage on this tower as Bulldog TP's in and makes some little treants there. Maybe Alliance will grab the first tower kill of the game if Cloud9 don't come to the defense. They've already burned the glyph, and they don't seem too interested in rotating. Pylai Die gets zoned out by Misery, and yeah, they'll hand this tower over. We'll see if Loda can get the last hit on it.
Yeah, this is a good play from Alliance. This is the kind of stuff their lineup needs to do in the early part of the game if they can. They've got the illusions from Naga, they've got the Prophet Trance, and even the Witch Doctor heal, but at the same time, again, Bone 7 with another gank in the mid lane here from the Doom. And Chessie, they did a lot to help him. He's now behind in the lane. And what's the trade-off? They got a tier 1 tower. Actually, Aki took a lot of damage there, but tier 1 tower, easily the least important tower for the Radiant, though. This doesn't really give any sort of access into the Radiant jungle. It isn't a very important strategic point on the map for them. So I think Cloud9 once again are going to be fine with this, and Alliance will need to take more towers, and they will need to take more important towers at the rate this game is going. The bottom tier 1, the mid tier 1, so they can get into that jungle and stop Cloud9 from just free farming all over the map.
Yeah, and already Eternal Envy is just laying into this bottom tier 1 tower. He's now level 6, so that's when the real damage starts to come out onto the field. Aoi 2000, halfway through level 4, so not too far off the mark for those familiars. Moving on in and really starting to pressure these structures a bit harder. The supports are now nearby Loda, and they're just trying to create as much space as they can. Loda level 6, and still just farming away. He is pulling up gold at this rate, has Ring of Aquila and Brown Boots, but only 1,000 in the bank. And not a bad start towards the Radiant. That tower gold will really help out, but still has a ways to go before that Radiant's burn is live. Uh-oh. Smoke from Misery and Ake. They'll get scattered by Bone 7, but they throw out the Wraithfire Blast. In comes the Fissure from Pylai Die. Ake turns on the heal, and he'll just run for it. And Chessie coming over as well. But uh-oh.
Oh, there's
Bulldog.
7?
Oh, okay. Das comes in, a.k.a. Admiral Bulldog. Chessie rotating over. He does have a Primal Split. He'll pop it, and they want Bone 7. They'll find him as he takes another Wraithfire Blast. The Fissure, well, it boxes out Misery, but doesn't really help out Bone 7 all too much, and it will be Witch Doctor that ends the streak and gets a little bit of extra gold there.
It's very important for Alliance that this just happened. Their supports were starting to fall behind on levels. Witch Doctor just got level 4 from that, and Wraith King is currently level 3. So because they're, I don't want to call it a roaming support duo, but they were at least looking to be more aggressive because they weren't successful with that early on. Oh boy, Misery down the bottom lane. He's getting completely stomped here by
that's an
level 4 Frost
kill.
Arrows as well as Grave Chill. He had like 100 move speed there and no mana, so nowhere to run. It's important for Alliance that these supports get levels because Loda will not be able to provide what they need to hold on. Is the best way I can put it right now.
Yeah.
Eternal Envy is getting big at a very quick rate. Treads, Midas, and 1,000 gold. 9 minutes in.
Yeah. Just glancing at net worth
is 1,000 above the free farming Naga.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. Both of them have the tower lasted under their belt, so that's the even part. But this early hand of Midas, 5 minutes is pretty ideal scenario for the Drow Ranger. So she's already starting to ball a little bit out of control, and by the time Naga gets the Radiance, that hand of Midas is going to have paid for itself at least and then some. So I think Eternal Envy is pretty happy with where he's at right now. We'll see what item build he moves into at this point. But, wow. What do Alliance do here, though? Given that this Drow Ranger is farming so much, is it just all about creating space for the Naga and stalling? I mean, what do you do here, given that... I mean, they must know that this Drow Ranger is topping the net worth chart by at least a fair bit.
I think the goal is for Admiral Bulldogs to get a fast Maelstrom here. He's flying out the Mithril Hammer, so he has that pretty soon.
Ake, he walks right into it. Bone 7 throws out the Doom. It ends up being an easy kill for Fada, but Doom Ultimate exchanged for his support is, well, okay, kill's a kill at this stage in the game. I guess that will deter Alliance from looking to take a fight.
Yeah, that's kind of the plan for Cloud9 right now, I think. Whatever kills they can get is just a bonus, as long as they're controlling the map and they're getting their farm. Visage is now almost level 7. This is how Cloud9 usually do it as well. When Envy has got good farm in the bot lane and has his Midas and Treads, he will go into the jungle, and then they will start farming the lane with Aoi so he can get his Ags as well. Maybe a Medallion too. And when these two core heroes start... I'm calling it a core, right? The Visage, but that's how Aoi's Visage usually ends up, right?
Yep.
When they start getting the farm, I don't think Alliance stand a chance in the fights anymore. So then the goal for them is to split push, and that's where Bulldog becomes important. But then, where's the connection between that and then having a Brewmaster? He's not a split push hero. He's a team fight and pushing hero, and he still doesn't have the blink at 11 minutes. That's not too bad, considering how hard the lane was after all, but...
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the direct connection between Alliance's heroes right now in the strategy. Maybe it just didn't work out like they were hoping for in the early game.
Yeah, Viper has now completed his mech, so he is team fight ready, and Chessie is pretty close to the blink, about 200 gold off. He'll move into the jungle here to perhaps grab that last little bit of gold. I think Bulldog should be pretty close to his Maelstrom. Yeah, he's just picked it up now. So those initial core items are coming out on both sides of the coin, but at least Alliance is grabbing some tools to let the split pushing commence and possibly hold their own in these fights. Loda up to 2,200 gold, so still farming pretty quickly. If Cloud9 continue at this tempo, Loda will have a decently timed Radiance, but there is still a window of opportunity for Cloud9 to turn up the aggression and interrupt this this bout of farming here.
Yeah, I wonder when their timing window is. They have the mech on Thada now. That's one of the most important items for their strategy. Visage has got the medallion as well as 1,000 gold, so he's probably working on the Ags already. And I want to point out, just look at the graphs. This is how the game is going to continue.
Is this a solo kill for Owie right here? He'll chase Bulldog way down past the tower, almost brings him down. But just showing us the power of the Visage once he finds a medallion and a little bit of extra experience.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, have a look at the graphs. It's 3,000 gold, 4,000 experience. We just saw Midas being picked up by the Doom. It's what I was talking about. It's the greed of Cloud9. If they can get away with it, why not? They know they're farming more. They know they're in the control of the game. And now they're just going to expand their lead. We're talking probably 500 gold per minute they're going to gain more than Alliance, unless Alliance start taking some sort of objectives. But they don't seem that interested in it themselves. And perhaps they feel like they can't. And then if that's happening 13 minutes in, you're kind of cornered. Owie's going to try again in the bottom lane, doing a lot of damage to Bulldog. This time he might not survive it even. He's trying to sprout. No way.
That's an easy solo kill. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Misery gets initiated upon. He is not level 6, and he will fall. No reincarnation to be found. And it'll be a 2-0 across the map as Alliance get picked apart by Cloud9. Mid lane.
Jesse's trying to get Envy, but Envy juking very nicely here in the trees. The mech comes in from Fata. He's getting some good damage out with the Drow here as well. Jesse barely living. Will blink in for the kill, actually. Might get it, yes.
There you go, but the Doom comes out right after. Fata will run him down, and yeah, there is no hope for survival here. Chessie will be okay with a 1-for-1 on the Drow Ranger, but it will cost him everything as he falls now. 8-3, 13 minutes in.
I think Alliance should, Chessie should be feeling happy that he at least got that kill, because that was looking grim after the first juke in the trees there from Envy, but quick on the blink, quick on the clap, gets another kill, but he died for himself, and I think this tier 1 tower mid is going to fall. And as I was saying, the mid tower and the bottom tower for Cloud9 are going to be really important for Alliance to claim, but they're not getting close to them. They have full health pretty much on both of them, whereas Cloud9 almost took the tier 1 mid. The tier 1 top, not really within range for them either, but still, just as far as map control goes, they definitely have it. And I'm looking for Alliance supports to start doing something, but I don't know what. It just feels like they're cornered right now.
Yeah, Misery's still not level 6, and that's kind of his big bottleneck right now. Same with the Witch Doctor. Very close to grabbing that Death Ward, a couple of creep kills away, but still not quite at that mark. And those are two big ultimates that open up a lot more teamfight potential for Alliance, and these little skirmishes just haven't gone their way. They will try something a little more sneaky here, as Chessie as well as Admiral Bulldog move into the Roche Pit. They use the teleport and the blink, so this hasn't been scouted out. There aren't any Radiant wards down anyhow. And I like this. Alliance need to do something, need to take some sort of a risk to try and get back in this game. And, well, Roche kill at the 15-minute mark is a step in the right direction.
This is a very good call if it works out. It's the best thing they can do with the map right now. They've secured the vision well with it. They have the ward here, and they have the ward at the Radiant Ancients. So they will see movement pretty well, unless if it's under Smoke of Deceit, of course. And actually, the timing might just be the worst in the world here for Alliance. They are 10 seconds away from Brewmaster Split being up, but maybe Cloud9.
They don't know.
Actually not going in there.
They are being very... have a lot of eyes on Alliance, so...
But now Chessie will have the split. He just got it off cooldown.
And, no, Roche still standing. High ground from Admiral Bulldog. There's the Death Ward from the high ground. Eternal Envy taking a lot of damage. He'll be the first to fall. Now Owie forced out. He's all alone. He's forced out by himself. He'll try and TP home, but, yeah, that's not happening. He'll get interrupted. And Primal Split used just for the Visage, who is dead. Wow, I'm okay.
Might have been a little bit of miscommunication there for Alliance. They already had a stun on him, but I think he was casting the split at the same time. He thought he might have had to stop that TP, but at the end of the day, I think Alliance are going to be really, really happy with that. 2 kills, Roche secured. They sacrificed their top tier 1 tower. This is going to reduce Naga's safety around the map by a little bit, but it was a good trade for Alliance nonetheless.
Yeah, and we'll see the graph. Still about 5,000 golden experience in favor of Cloud9, but that at least puts a dent. And it's 2 kills, and one of them on that core Joe Ranger. She is now level 11 and has the Yasha, so still a pretty scary force, but that is the hero that you want to try to kill. Now Loda, very close to that Radiance, has enough for the Relic and just needs the recipe. He's also the Aegis carrier, and that will help him out. On top of that, level 11, so Naga Siren has that much shorter of a cooldown and allows Loda to be a little more active if need be. So signs of life out of Alliance, but they still have a ways to go, as Cloud9 are going to commence the team fight.
I like this play from Cloud9 a lot. They forced out the Brewmaster's play. They know they're against an Aegis, but they don't really care, because they feel like, as far as teamfights go, they're way superior the moment Bruce Blade is down. So they just claimed 2 towers. So it looked like a good trade for Alliance. It's just been turned around within a matter of a minute by Cloud9 getting 2 towers. Easily advantage for them over the last 5 minutes then. And
yeah.
What are Alliance getting in a trade? They're doing some chip damage bottom, but they don't even dare committing to this. They don't know where Cloud9 are. Cloud9, are they going high ground? Are you serious?
I think they may try
They have
it.
no fear.
They ping out Chessie. They know he doesn't have a primal split. Doom is available, and there is a Blink Dagger on Bone 7. He'll go bottom, goes right onto Bulldog, connects with the Doom, and he'll chase him down. Bulldog plays some Ring Around the Rosie, trying to bide his time, and maybe it'll be successful. Bone 7 tries to chop him down. But no, nowhere for the Bulldog to go. Wastes a little bit of time, but end of the day, Bone 7 will be pretty happy slaying the rat.
Alliance are still, even losing Bulldog down there, they're still holding their high ground. Of course, the Cloud9 had to commit Doom to dealing with that, so they were also only 4 heroes mid. And for now, Alliance are going to stall the game. They got 5,000 gold on Loda. He's 100 gold away from the Radiance. It's going to be an 18-minute Radiance. Not the best time and also not the worst, but we need to remember, they've taken 1 tower, and Loda doesn't even have an assist. So, yeah. All things considered, I think a really good timing here for the Radiance for Loda. I just don't think it's enough. I think he needs 1 more item at least. I was talking about Radiance into Heart, or Radiance into Manta and then Heart, and then he will be a really big issue. But for now, have to say, things are going according to Cloud9's plan.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a smoke towards the bottom lane. Pylai and Bone 7.
This is not according to their plan.
Stuck in their sights. There's the primal split. Bone 7 with no mana. Doom still stuck on cooldown, and he will maybe be the first to fall. Cask gets thrown, but it doesn't take any bounces. They'll have to dive this tier 2 tower. Owie 2000's coming in. The bowler will get tossed, but Bone 7 survives. A failed gank from Alliance, and that big ultimate from Brewmaster will be essentially wasted as they're forced to retreat.
Yeah, that's a great fissure coming out from Pylai there to save the day, and he got out himself as well. I was thinking Alliance would get 1 kill, maybe even both of them, but they both survived by just splitting each in their direction. Doom was tanky enough, and Alliance, I guess, went for the wrong target. The Shaker would have been an easy kill for sure, but they wanted the bigger one and end up getting nothing.
Yeah, it seemed like Doom would be the easy target, but he's got some armor now with the plate mail and the tranquil boots, and that's where Doom suffers. That really ups his effective hit point pool, and they just underestimated the tanky presence that is the Doombringer. Fada now tanking up as well, has his Ag Scepter complete, and Eternal Envy, a great timing to grab the Sanjin Yasha, helping him tank up a bit, and of course giving him some extra attack speed and agility. They'll go for the high ground here. They know the split's on cooldown, so why the hell not? Bone 7 hops forward. Doom is available, stuck inside of the Sprout, looking for the right target. Misery will get caught by the fissure. Out comes the Death Ward, but Bone 7's tanky enough to deal with it.
He is buying so much time.
Look at that. All that armor really paying dividends here. He will eventually get taken down, but at what cost? A tier 3 tower in the mid lane. Owie pops the mech. Or pardon me, Fada pops the mech, and they will just back out. Cass will fly through, taking a lot of bounces. Here. Viper Strike out onto Ake. Now Loda coming in the front lines. They'll go on to Fada. Chessie hops in. It is Witch Doctor who's first to fall. Fada will go down, but there's the Echo Slam. The dunk forces the reincarnate. It will cost Pylai his life, but worth it. Chessie will fall as Eternal Envy lays in the right clicks, but Alliance still take the team fight. Owie and Eternal Envy both fall, and it's a full team wipe. Familiars may still clean up Admiral Bulldog. They'll chase him down as he stands his ground. First stun will connect. Second stun will hit, and that's a dead Bulldog. Triple kill for Owie 2000. Still, Alliance make the hold.
Looks like Bulldog thought he at least wouldn't die from that, so he tried getting a hit off or two to kill the Familiar, and ends up, maybe should have just run there. I don't know if he would have lived, but a little bit of overconfidence perhaps, but still. Like you said, Alliance will hold their base. Were there any buybacks in that?
I believe not.
Don't think so. No.
No buybacks.
So, great job by Alliance. They committed a lot to killing off the Doom, but it proved to be worth it in the end, running those 3 heroes down there. But with a tier 3 down, the next push is going to be twice as scary for them. Next time, it's the racks that fall. There's no glyph available for another 40 seconds, but they have the split, though. So I don't know if Cloud9 dare to do it right now.
Yeah, that was really the big motivator for Cloud9 to be aggressive there. But a couple key things now. Bone 7 did not use his ultimate, so that was a team fight without Doom, where in most cases I think he'll at least use that ultimate, but all things equal before he dies. And now there's an Ag Scepter out on Owie, so that's another Familiar they'll have to deal with, and of course increases his potency quite a bit. Still a pretty big gold lead for Cloud9, upwards of about 7,500, but experience is now just about leveled out. That Radiance has, well, really allowed Loda to farm a bit now. 3,200 gold on him already,
just
and
a bit.
still holding the Aegis. Yeah, just a little bit.
He got 3,000 gold in the last 3 minutes. I said it was an 18-minute Radiance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 minutes. That's about 1,000 GPM over the last 3 minutes. That's pretty okay. That's
pretty solid, yeah. So we'll see where he goes here. BOTs are kind of the obvious choice, but I think just tanking up is really the priority here. This is a heart kind of game.
Yeah, he's going to go for the Yasha first, which shows me that Loda's plan is just to farm more effectively, split push more effectively. Nagas, after the Radiance, generally either get the Yasha or the Boots of Travel, and then they transition into Manta or Heart. But just getting the Yasha, the illusions are a lot stronger, they farm faster, and he can perhaps reliably push out the lanes just that little bit more. And the only goal of Alliance is for Cloud9 to not reach the base. That's everything right now. And for that, maybe this was the #1 choice for Loda.
Yeah, there is also a Blink Dagger up on Misery now, so Wraith King has some initiation power, and he can hop forward. With that, Cloud9 will pressure the bottom Tier 2 tower. Glyph comes out on the Dire side, and it looks like it will be a Tier 2 for Tier 2 exchange. Bulldog makes some treants, and Misery will commence the right clicks into the tower. But Radiant have the pushing advantage here. They will kill the tower first, and they could TP back to try to make a defense if they were so inclined. But we'll see what rotation they want to go for. Looks like they will just let the tower fall. Owie hoping for a deny with the familiars. Can't find it. And now Cloud9 will just mech up and rotate the
Oh, wow, he has Ags.
Pardon?
Ags and level 11 on that Visage.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
3 familiars now. I was wondering why he resummoned them, but that makes a lot of sense suddenly.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Cloud9.
This is the fight Alliance have to win. If they don't win this, they're going to lose the whole base, but this is a great initiation right
now. Right on Eternal Envy. There's the Primal Split. Another beautiful fissure, but the Death Ward doing so much damage to Owie out from the backside. Dro will fall. One last Riptide from Naga will bring him down. And now let the aggression commence from the Dire. Primal Split still has some duration left. They'll find Fada. He has a Viper Strike, puts it out onto Misery, but Visage falls to the backside. A buyback from the Dro now that Fada's gone down. Bone 7 throws a Doom onto Loda. Familiars laying in the right clicks. Loda will fall. Now Bulldog gets picked off as well. Even a buyback from the Fada on Viper. Cloud9 want to do crippling damage here, and they may well be able to do it. Buybacks coming out on the Dire side now as well. Naga and the Nature's Prophet, 2 buybacks on each side burned. And we have a 4v5 on the field. It is Alliance with the hero advantage right now.
What a cool buyback from Envy. He actually bought back to use his precision aura, and it gave Owie a double kill with the familiars. That was really legit. I like that play a lot.
That is clutch.
He didn't show up himself, so the buyback essentially all it did was give Owie a double kill with the birds, but easily worth it. He's now back in the fight. They're starting to do some damage on the tower, but need to be careful not to overextend, and Envy is way too far, and maybe not.
Yeah, Misery hops forward. He has the Reincarnate. That draws out Envy. He'll be the first to go down. Now Chessie, the target of choice. He doesn't have a Primal Split here. Needs to be somewhat careful. Viper Strike out on the Bulldog. He'll TP back to the well. Fada way too far forward. Chessie comes out, uses the Thunderclap. It could be a dead Viper. The cask flying through. Pylai die. Gets interrupted. He wanted to throw the fissure to buy space for Fada, but the cask will stop it. Pylai die now trying to TP home. The ensnare will stop him. Alliance make another hold. Rack still standing, and Cloud9 will be forced back as Owie rotates through the jungle. Alliance making the hold that they needed as now they move into Roche #2.
I think that was a little naive from Cloud9 to expect to get away with that. They were willingly running in 4 against 5 with Envy on the front line with those items. He has a Sanjin Yasha and an Ogre Club. There's no magic immunity, there's no mobility. Yeah, okay, you've got the move speed from Sanjin Yasha, but there's no like Force Staff, there's no quick blink you can get out with or something like that. So the moment he gets jumped on, he's just dead. There's no turnaround potential, and then you willingly take a 4-on-5 into that, and I believe Brewmaster Split was up as well, or maybe they actually didn't have
I don't
that.
think it was quite yet.
Even then, it's still a very risky play, and I think Cloud9, maybe a little bit of, I don't want to call it flashbacks to TI3, but they had a couple of games where they actually did really well, and then they ended up losing late game to Naga, and I think they just have these kind of, they have some really bad memories, and they want to avoid that from happening again, but yeah, you can't be overzealous like that. It's not going to work.
Looking at the graphs, Alliance are really regaining some momentum here. 5,000 gold lead for Alliance, and it was almost 10,000 about 10 minutes ago in this game. Experience is now 5,000 in favor of our Dire side. Aegis of the Immortal on Loda, who's now level 15, and he went straight for the Manta style. He has it complete, only 600 gold in the bank, but he is still coming online here. Had to burn some of that extra savings on the buyback, but well worth it as they held the base. Now Bulldog will move into an Orchid as he has double Oblivion Staff and actually enough gold to pick up that recipe already. Pylai die not too far off his Blink Dagger with 1,900 gold, and that will help out Cloud9 quite a bit. But we'll see. Alliance well on their road to recovery here as they keep their base standing.
Yeah, Alliance has definitely been gaining a lot of momentum. I don't know if you should call it momentum actually, because they haven't really been getting out that much on the map, but they've been gaining more of a lead. They're still behind, but relative to how this game is going to unfold, being behind 5,000 gold and being ahead 5,000 experience, I would call that a lead for Alliance as long as they haven't lost their barracks, because now comes the time when Cloud9 will struggle to actually reach the base again. Loda now with the Manta style, the illusions, more of them, they're faster, they deal more damage. We've got Bulldog now with the Blink Dagger Orchid, he's going to be split pushing himself too, and now with the Orchid has gank potential. Cloud9 have to find a way of gathering somewhere and pushing a lane, but they know it's going to come at a price.
Yeah.
Now even a mech on the Witch Doctor, Alliance are getting everything they need.
Yeah, these core items indeed. I guess in the context of this game, Witch Doctor is the best suited for the mech, but not an item you see on him all too often. It's a support that really prioritizes Ag Scepter because the bounces are just absurd in terms of damage output in the team fights. But mech will certainly come in handy here even at the 27-minute mark.
In this game, Aki is easily playing a position 5, so expecting to get an Axe at this point is probably not that realistic, and the mech gives value right now. The Axe is an investment, and the individual items don't really help him out that much. It also, if he goes for the mech, it allows... First of all, Alliance want one, and it allows Bulldog to go for more aggressive items, and Misery is starting to get some farm himself as well. He's got the Blink Dagger Treads and 1,000 gold, so we might be looking at Alliance just banking on the late game. With good split push, we've got Wraith King as a potential core as well later on in the game. And where's Cloud9 scaling going? This is when they wanted to be pushing and taking the base, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Fox is pretty much stalled out in the last 5 minutes. I've seen no progression in items for the Viper.
Yeah, and just look at the net worth chart. There was a time when Drill Ranger was way at the top. We were talking about that great timing on the Midas, but now it's the Naga who's taking the #1 seat and is just about 50% ahead of Eternal Envy by about a 5,000 gold difference. He's knocked back so many times. The buyback in the last fight, sure, it helped turn things around, but in the context of his economy, it's really slowed him down. And even the Doom, he's farming okay, but losing out against the Naga. He has a Shivas and now working towards a refresher, I'd assume, with that Perseverance. But the farming has commenced, and Loda has taken over that #1 seat.
Oh, Envy's in a lot of trouble if Chessie blinks across here and blocks him in.
Oh,
He's
Bulldog
hesitating a bit
TP's
here.
forward.
Now
They
Misery's
can't
gonna
find
come
him.
in.
There
Yeah,
we
he's
go.
gone.
Chessie hops in. Primal Split's available, but they don't need it. The Cask will fly through, and Eternal Envy will get picked off in the, quote, safety of his own jungle. Look at this dire vision here. They've got wards all over the place, and Envy is just not safe farming away.
He will not be safe in his own jungle for the rest of the game now, because Orchid is up on the Prophet, with a Blink Dagger even. They've got Naga Illusions inside his jungle now, and like you said, superior warding. So the whole map is turning into alliances right now. And, you know, looking back, I'm wondering what the value was of the Sanjin Yasha. Instead of just getting the Yasha and then going straight into BKB, if what you want to do is push high ground at like 25 minutes, BKB against Alliance's lineup, I feel like it's a no-brainer. They've got multiple stuns, they've got a Brewmaster. Why would you get S and Y over Yasha BKB so you can end the game when you're strong? I'm not following the thought here.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The only thing I can think of is if you're the lone BKB carrier against the Naga, it can sometimes be a double-edged sword. As soon as they see that BKB pop, you use the Song of the Siren, and even though you're immune to magic, it's still a 5 versus 1, and you can just get clicked down very easily. That's kind of the only reason I
believe the familiars don't sleep, though, yeah?
Pardon?
I believe the familiars don't sleep in the song, though. So they can buy him a lot of time with 3 birds.
Yeah, fair enough.
And in addition to that, if that's the plan, then you just have to get in on the Naga. They have a Doom to do that with. They have Fissure, and it's kind of a counterplay, right? He doesn't have to use the BKB aggressively. He has to use it defensively, and if Alliance force it out in that way and then sing, it's not necessarily a fight on their terms after all. But in this way, they can just take the fight exactly like they want, and Cloud9 is putting no pressure with their itemization on the Drow, I feel.
Yeah, and now up top we could see a skirmish break out. Fada and Loda are nearby, and Loda is at the point now where he can actually contribute in these little team fights, especially if they have a numbers advantage, but no, maybe it's him that'll be in trouble. Fada will start feeling the burn of the Radiance, and who do they have hiding in the trees here? It is Bone 7, Blink, and Doom available, but they won't go for it. Loda will TP towards the mid lane, and it looks like Alliance will commence for the pushing here in the mid. Pylai Die will TP back to the base, and they'll just position themselves to defend this tier 2 tower, as Alliance have a 5-hero rotation.
If you're Cloud9, this is one of those situations where you feel like you have to go in, but you really don't want to. The question is, can they soften up Alliance a little bit first with some familiar damage and some drops here? There's the BKB. I'm wondering if it's too little too late at this point. I know it's early to call it. They're still ahead on gold, but you just don't feel like Cloud9 has the grip on the game that they were setting out for 20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
And
a couple of other
we'll
key
see if he can
things
turn it
here.
around now.
Yeah, the gem on Owie and also the refresher out on Doom. So those are two big items. If they can move out of their base and just start clearing these wards with the gem, that is something that could start swinging momentum a little bit. They will venture through and perhaps find this one, though. They are smoked up, so they'll just let it go for now. Looking for a kill. Maybe they have their sights set on Misery. Not the ideal target to go for, but a kill is a kill. They look for the Rosh and check it out. Of course, hasn't respawned yet. They see Misery here. He has a reincarnate. And Pylai Die will reveal the smoke. Misery knows what's going on. He TP's home, and whoa, it gets interrupted by the fissure. And they will bring him down. Level Death procs the reincarnate. Silence straight away. Yeah, Misery will take a tumble. They don't burn any big cooldowns, but in terms of a smoke gank, that's probably your almost ideal hero to take a tumble if you're on the side of Alliance.
Unless if Cloud9 can push within the next 2 minutes, then it could be crucial that that reincarnation is down. But with the amount of pressure Alliance are applying on the map, I don't know if Cloud9 can reach the base. The top lane, they had to go back to defend against the Naga illusions. The Prophet Ultimate's going through. He's causing a lot of trouble in the bot lane with Treants as well. And Cloud9, yes, they find a gank, but where's the collateral? Where's the warding? The map control, they get something, any sort of building damage, any sort of chance at Roshan. He's dead right now, so that's not an option, but
yep.
There's nothing else than a kill. If they would play some wards so that they could get their next kill, perhaps that could have been worth it, but as it stands, that was just a kill for the sake of a kill, and generally at this level of play, that just doesn't cut it 30 minutes in.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's on a core, if you're shutting down the Naga, perhaps you can make a case, but a position 4 Wraith King, not the most valuable of targets. At least they scout out the wards, though. Owie will clear out 2 of the wards in the Radiant jungle, so it is a bit more safe, and Eternal Envy can commence in the farming with his freshly picked up BKB. There is only, 2 Dire wards down, 1 in this aggressive position here near the base, and then 1 in the mid lane. So a lot of that vision control for the Dire has now expired, and Cloud9 will smoke up, and once again, try this gank. Let's see if they can find something better than just the Wraith King. They ping out the Ancients, and this time it's Bulldog farming away, a slightly higher value target, but again, what's the objective they get after that? Roche won't be up for another 2 minutes, and that is just unlucky for Cloud9, a very long respawn time.
Yeah.
Well,
Last
unlucky
time they
if
found the
they're
Wraith
successful in
King.
this
This
game.
time, are they going to find the Witch Doctor? No, it will be Bulldog. He is maybe getting out of here. He will.
He blinks, sprouts, Pylai dies
never
there
mind.
with the fissure. He won't survive, at least not yet. Chessie comes in. They want to defend their Bulldog. Eternal Envy on the high ground, laying in the right clicks. That brings him down, but they get a 1-for-1 as Earthshaker falls. Now, Eternal Envy in kind of an odd position. Loda looking to initiate. The Primal Split is active. BKB, TP home from Envy. They had to use the Ensnare to start it off. A nice read. Song of the Siren is used. Did he use it there? No, he didn't. Pardon me. Doom comes out, though, onto one of the illusions. Oh, no. That's bad. Owie 2000 will try to TP home here, but that's not happening. He'll get caught, and it will end as a 1-for-2. That was a doomed illusion, right? I'm not crazy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're right. You're doing an illusion. He does have Refresher if the fight breaks out in another minute, or within the next minute. Else he'll have to... else he'll have 2 illusion... 2 dooms again. 2 illusions, yeah. He'll doom 2 illusions next time. That's the upgrade from Bonsev. In all fairness, though, it's incredibly hard in those fights to doom the right Naga. Figuring out which one is real when there's 5 of them and they're attacking that fast and that hard, it's almost impossible. So,
yeah.
Envy was just in a peculiar position. Like you said, he got the kill from the high ground, but then Cloud9 couldn't really find some sort of angle to gather up again and fight. So he had to get out of there. I think the BKB TP might have been the right call, but it just leaves his team to rot. If he's not there, they don't have the damage.
Yeah, absolutely. He is their key fest. I mean, Fada's a pretty big damage dealer as well, but at this point, Dro is taken over on that front. He'll now move into a Morbid Mass, so getting some lifesteal, and Fada is moving into a Heart of Tarrasque. Actually has the Reaver already. Speaking of hearts, Naga Siren, she might be made of ice, but she's got a Heart of Gold here as the Heart of Tarrasque pops into the inventory of Loda.
This was the inventory I was saying. If Naga reaches this, they're probably looking really good for this game. So
yeah, and
well,
the momentum has truly shifted. Experience has actually moved back towards even after Alliance had a big advantage. But both graphs are just about zeroed out here as we're getting towards the late game. 35 minutes in, Roche just about to respawn. They will pick off the familiar. Right, that was weird. He stunned and died at the same time, but Cloud9 don't know that Roche has respawned quite yet. Of course, they're privy to the timer and that it should be coming up soon, but they'll get aggressive. Smoke forward. Bone 7 hops right onto Misery, pops the Shivas, but he does have Reincarnate. Chessie takes the Viper Strike. Primal Split's available, but there's a silence. Pylai Die throws out the Echo Slam. It's enough to secure the kill on the Brewmaster. Loda deploys the ultimate. Even Misery falls for a second time. A buyback from Chessie. And Alliance will try to contest this Roshan. How much do Cloud9 want to commit to this? And it looks like quite a bit as they move straight into the pit.
Bulldog will do whatever damage he can top at the same time. I think someone has to go back and defend this because Alliance will be initiating this fight just to try to get the split push going. Chessie's going in.
Yeah, he'll go straight in. Roche still with plenty of hit points to spare. There's the primal split. They'll go on to Eternal Envy. He's out of mana. He's stunned from the boulder. Can they bring him down? They sure can. Naga Siren will do it with one more Riptide. Now Bulldog rejoining the party. They see Bone 7 and they want the kill. They'll find it. Fada and Owie on the back foot. They're forced to TP home. Owie won't make it. Fada will stand his ground. Once a return kill onto the Bulldog, throws out the poison. He may fall. No, the mech and the heal from Witch Doctor is enough to keep him alive. Oh, and it's disastrous for Cloud9. They lose the fight, and third Roche with the cheese will go the way of Alliance.
This is kind of reminiscent of TI3 Alliance play, actually. Bulldog is split pushing one lane. Meanwhile, they force a fight at the Roshan where their key target gets taken out. He buys back, comes back into the fight, fights for the Roche. Now, Bulldog had completely free choice there. He could have gone for a tier 3, or he could secure the fight. It's just such a classic Alliance play to actually seemingly lose the Roche fight, but then know that they have the buyback and the dire positioning to get back in the fight there with Chessie. A very, very easy fight for Alliance as well, I have to say. It's just the moment the Doom is out like that and Brewmaster can buy back and even then get a split off, Cloud9 are just... The Naga is just getting too big. They can't control her in the fights anymore. And
yep.
I don't know what you do. This for me was the doom point for Cloud9. Lotus inventory, this is what they couldn't allow to happen, and it has.
Yeah, now if you look at net worth, 24K compared to the 16 of Doom, who's the leading farmer for Cloud9. 5,000 gold in the inventory of Loda, and he won't even spend it. They'll just press forward and start chipping at this tier 3. Now, there is a glyph available, and Alliance won't be able to easily break high ground, but they do keep Cloud9 turtle in their base and just give that friendly little poke saying, yeah, if we win another team fight, your base will be in big, big trouble, boys. So you best watch out. Eyes on you. Bulldog now with a Scythe of Ice, some extra crowd controls on the field, and now Loda can start building straight-up damage as he's quite tanky. Maybe a little Butterfly coming up next. Nope, Diffusal.
Diffusal first. This is the classic build-up for Naga. He could build a Diffusal too now if he wants, but I think he's just getting it to have the Purge effect and to have some mana burn. And then the next item choice is generally the Butterfly, I think. Sometimes we see a second Heart if you just want the illusions to be incredibly tanky against magic damage, but I see no reason to do that this game. I think the Butterfly is the better choice.
Yeah.
And, well, I think at this point he could build anything.
Yeah. But pretty much
if he wants to secure it, Butter's a really good call. Evasion against the Familiars, against the Drow, against the Viper.
Look at that. Ake just finds a gem hanging out in the Roche pit. That's good. Takes Aui's gem, and now they'll be able to do a little bit of ward
counter-warding.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, a little freebie there. Thanks, guys. So, yeah, no item progression on the side of Cloud9, and Joe Ranger just hasn't been able to find anything else since this BKB. Picked up the casual Morbid Mask and still hasn't been able to upgrade it. Eternal Envy's farm has just suffered so much. After seeing a 5-minute Midas, would not have expected him to.
Fada's fighting one-on-one against one illusion of Loda.
Oh, now Bulldog comes in. There's the Hex.
He's gonna lose it.
And they will back out a little bit here as Cloud9 come forward, but no, the support is there. Song of the Siren from Loda to reset. Bulldog has taken the Doom, and they will just walk away. Refresher is available if Cloud9 want to press the issue here, but I don't know that they do. Bone 7 taking a very aggressive position. Viper Strike comes out onto Loda. He will pop the Manta. Whoa, there's a big dunk from a Pylai die, but it only forces out the reincarnation. No more kills come out. Bone 7 pops the Shivas, but he'll fall. He's just not tanky enough. The second Doom out onto Chessie, and Bulldog goes down to the, or pardon me, he will fall, but the Death Ward comes out. A lot of return damage onto Owie. Eternal Envy tried to TP home, but no, the Ensnare will stop him, and he will fall. Now Fada gets caught inside of the Sprout. It's just a disaster for Cloud9. This is close to a full team wipe. Pylai die makes it back to the base, but Cloud9 were the aggressors there. Alliance wanted to retreat.
There's no buyback on Drow. The 3 other heroes do have it, and I think they're all going to spend it, but... Well, even if Alliance back out at this point and they save their barracks, that was so incredibly expensive. No... What did buy... Alliance bought back 1 hero, I think. That's all.
Well, look in a second. Pylai die. It's a dieback! Oh, no, he didn't buy back, but hits a death. He'll buy back right away. Owie 2000, that's the first dieback. Now Bone 7 and Fada in trouble, and Snare onto the Fada. The Primal Split will surround him. He gets turned into a piggy, and he'll get turned to bacon as he falls. Bone 7 in the front lines, finds a kill onto the Witch Doctor, but it doesn't matter. The GG from Cloud9. They can't hold, and Alliance will make a turnaround. 40 minutes in, 31-20. Loda's Naga Siren proves too much, and Alliance secure the first win of Starladder Season 10 European Division.
Yeah, and keep in mind that Alliance are currently testing out their 2 stand-ins here, so it's not the full roster that you're used to seeing, but I still have to say a pretty good showing from both of them, both Misery and Chessie. Chessie, a couple of misplays here and there, maybe in the beginning on Brewmaster, but considering how hard a game he had, he still ends on 6, 5, and 19. Great teamfight impact from him. And Misery, who started out with a really weak early game because their ganks didn't work still ends up having a really great impact too here. So Alliance just, you see their two supports with so low farm, but it didn't matter because Loda had what it took.
Yeah, absolutely. It really felt like the turn of that game was when they committed to that high ground push and just got completely wiped up, especially following that buyback from Eternal Envy. That was the time when he went from tangoing with the top of the net worth to right in the middle of the pack. And after that, he just never really recovered. And as we talked about in the draft, Dro is a very momentum-based hero, and that seemed to be the end of Eternal Envy's momentum.
Yep. Once again, I have to question the item choice. I don't feel like the Sanjin Yasha was the right call this game. I think everyone else on Cloud9, the itemization makes a lot more sense for me personally. With this kind of game plan, I think SNY just doesn't really cut it. I don't know generally how good of an item it is on Drow, and I know Envy has kind of a reputation for not liking to go BKB. It was still his second choice though, so he realized he really had to get it. I think it was too late. Maybe it could have been a different game. Maybe it was just decision making and items didn't really matter, but he still ends, he's a free farm hero, he ends with 2, 8, and 3, you never really felt his presence in the game, then either something is wrong with your strategy or your execution. I don't know which one it was, but something could have definitely gone better for the draw this game, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So it's 2 new stand-ins, Misery and Chessie, off to a good start in their debut with Team Alliance, guys. We'll have a quick break and 3 more games of Dota coming your way. Team Na'Vi coming up next. I'm Zyori, solo in the studio, being joined remotely by Syndrin. If you want to follow us on Twitter, they're in the title of this broadcast. But don't go anywhere. Starladder EU Day 1 is just getting started.